All right, in this training, I'm going to show you effective ways to actually follow up. Wrong way is something like this. Hi, is Mary there? Mary, hey, it's James Miller, just following up with you. I know we talked a few months ago because you guys were interested in my blank. Do you have a few minutes we can talk? Or something like that, okay? Never use the words following up, circling back. I'm just circling back with you. I'm just checking in, okay? Because think about this for a second. Do your prospects know what those words actually mean? Likely. How many salespeople that have tried to sell you something that you didn't buy send you an email or call you and say, I'm just following up, I'm just checking in, I'm just circling back? See, those are trigger words. So never use this. Now, let me show you. First of all, I'm going to show you a generic way to do this, okay? The important thing that you want to do when you follow up with the lead, okay, is you want to interrupt their pattern. Okay, so let me write this down here. This is called a pattern interrupt. Okay, so write this down. So writer downer. Okay, pattern interrupt. So what is a pattern interrupt and why should you use it? Well, remember, your brain, just like your prospect's brain, reads patterns. So you're used to patterns, okay? So when you feel like somebody's trying to sell you something because you recognize the pattern, okay, instantly your guard goes up. So I have to interrupt that pattern where the prospect's brain doesn't know what's going on, where it's almost like it doesn't quite understand. It's almost confused, which triggers curiosity. Okay, that's called a pattern interrupt, okay? First of all, I want to have a familiar tone. If you've looked at some of our other trainings, we talked about the 5 types of tonalities you have to master, and there are subcategories of each of those tone, and one of those subcategories is a familiar tone. Okay, because how many times have you got a call from somebody and they're like, hey, it's Daryl Smith, how are you? Do you say, who is this? I don't know any Daryl Smith. Or do you say, I'm doing good, how are you? You instantly say that because your brain, that's a pattern interrupt, that person sounds like they are very familiar with you, like they know you, okay? So you wouldn't dare be rude to them and be like, who is this? That's because they're using a familiar tone. But if like, hi, is John there? Hey, John, this is Daryl Smith with XYZ Company. The reason why I called was monotone voice, sounds like a telemarketer, sounds like a salesperson. Your guard is up and you're like, who is this? Or is this a cold call? But I'm like, yeah, is John there? Yeah, John, hey, it's James, James Miller. I think we talked, what was it, about 3 or 4 months ago? You guys were looking to possibly blank so that you guys could blank. Did you guys, I think we had an appointment, but we didn't hear back. Did you guys give up on that, or what actually happened? Now that is a generic formula that I just used there, okay? So what you want to do, and I'll show you some industry specific ones, is you want to act like, see, and here's the thing, I'm going to show you this here. When you're calling, okay, if you're calling on the phone, you can have papers here. And as you're talking this here, go like this, like you're looking through the papers where they can hear it. Do you know why? That's another example of a what? Pattern interrupt, okay? Their brain hears something in the background which triggers them to wonder what that is. Pattern interrupt, okay? All I'm doing is interrupting the pattern, okay? Yeah, it's Jeremy, Jeremy Miner. We getting back to you. I think we talked, I want to say it was, gosh, it might have been 2 or 3 months ago. You guys inquired about looking at getting possible help with your blank so that you guys could blank, but then we didn't hear back. Did you guys give up on that, or what actually happened? Now, to see how I did the papers there, okay? Did you see? Now, what are these here? This is called, see those periods here? That is called a verbal pause. So when you're using a familiar tone, you have to pause between your first name and your first and last name, almost 1 second. Okay, we actually time this out. 0.09 is the right way, the best way. So you want to time this. Yes, Jeremy, Jeremy Miner, getting back to you. See, sounds like I'm familiar to you. So their brain it starts to think, who's Jeremy Miner? Who's Jeremy Miner? How do I know this person? Where do I meet them? So all it's doing is buying you more time. You triggered curiosity, okay? But if I go like this, hey, James, yeah, it's Jeremy Miner getting back to you. It looks like we did see, too fast. You're not verbal pausing. You're not pacing out the question. You sound like a salesperson, okay? So let's say if I sold precious metals, and I think this is what I put in here about. We have a big company. Maybe you're watching us right now that I just did a big workshop for one of our new clients out in California, big precious metals dealer. And let's say you didn't close them, had a couple conversations, they went AWOL, now you're calling them back 3 months later. Yeah, is John there? Yeah, hey John, it's Jeremy, Jeremy Miner, with Preserve Gold, getting back to you. It looks like, gosh, I want to say we talked, when was it? 3, 4 months ago. You guys were looking to possibly invest in gold so that you could kind of hedge with all the inflation going on. And then we didn't hear back. Did you guys give up on, protecting yourself against inflation, or what actually happened? Or I can shorten it. Did you guys give up on that, or what actually happened? Now, the important thing is here. Look, I'm not just saying you were talking to us because you were interested in buying gold or you were interested in my product or service. I'm repeating back the reason why about possibly investing in gold so that you could, and then I repeat back the end result that they said. So if I'm in this industry, if they said to protect against inflation, I'm putting that back in there. And then I'm saying, did you guys give up on that, or what actually happened? It's hard for them to say, yes, we gave up on that. Now, they might come back and say, well, we decided to go with somebody else, or we decided now's not a good time. Oh, what caused you to feel that way? Just so I understand. And I can always, you can always get back to me later on. Remember, I'm selling the exit. Or I could say, oh, what caused you to feel that way? And just so you know, I've only got a few minutes before my next appointment anyways, but what caused you to feel that way? See, I'm always selling the exit. Okay. Or I could say something like this. If they're like, oh, we decided just to push it down the road and kind of see what happens. Oh, okay, that's not a problem. You can always get back to us down the road. You've got my number, right? Okay, good. And hey, before we jump off, um, can I ask you something? Sure, go ahead. How can I communicate to you that you might be making a mistake without you getting upset with me? Well, no, we wouldn't get upset with you. What do you have in mind? Well, I'm concerned for you because what happens, and then I'm going to go into a consequence question. See how I set that up? Let me give you another example. I can show this for every industry. Okay, let's say if you sold business consulting, let's say you sold for McKinsey or somebody, or whatever you do, okay? And let's say that when you talked with them months ago, 3 months ago, they were having issues with their operations team, and they felt like it was preventing them from being able to scale to $12 million a month. They didn't have systems in place, and let's say they were at 8 million a month, and they've just been stuck there for like years. They've been stuck at this rate for 3, 4 years, and they just can't quite get here. They felt like they need a better operations team or better operations systems. And let's say you're a consultant for McKinsey or whoever you're a consultant for, and your company comes in and trains them how to build systems, or maybe puts better operations in. You can almost be a recruiting or staffing agency as well. So look what I'm doing here. Look at the formula. So start writing this down for what you sell. The formula is very simple, okay? Here's the familiar tone. Remember the verbal pauses right here, okay? I'm saying getting back to you, like we've already talked, because we talked whatever, how many months ago. You're having some issues with you repeat the problem, okay? And I can either repeat the consequence of the problem, okay? Because the consequence is right here. It's preventing them from scaling to $12 million a month. The end result is they wanted better systems so they could scale to $12 million a month. So sometimes I can put the consequence right after the problem and then the end result they wanted, okay? And it depends on the industry. Some industries, I can put the problem, then the consequence of that, okay? Depends on, I could do it either way, all right? Or I could just put the problem, then the end result they said they wanted. So pay attention to what I'm doing here, okay? Yeah, John, hey, it's James Miller. Getting back to you, I think we talked, gosh, when was it? I want to say it might have been 3 or 4 months ago. You brought us into your company. You were looking at some issues with I think it was your operations team, because I think you said it felt like it was preventing you guys from being able to scale. I think you told me like $12 million a month. Now, we didn't hear back after that last appointment. Did you guys give up on scaling, or what actually happened? Now, when you verbal pace it out like that, I will tell you, you will control that conversation right there. It's very rare that they cut you off. Very rare. Because hear my tone. If I'm like this, if I do it like this, hey, it's Jeremy Miner getting back to you. It looks like we talked 3 months ago about some issues with your operations team and how you felt it's preventing you from scaling to 12 minutes. Yeah, we did, but we're not interested. Because your tone has already triggered sales resistance because you sound like a telemarketer, your monotone. Notice how my voice fluctuates with my tonality. Notice how I sound confused a little bit. I sound familiar tone, then a little bit confused about when we talked. And then I talked about, then my tone goes down into a concern tone about the consequences. So like I have got 3 shifts in my tone, which causes their brain to have to stay engaged. Now, even if they do, let's say they cut you off here and like, oh, we decided to go another way. Oh, okay. So did you guys, when you said you went another way, did you guys give up on scaling or how do you mean by you went another way? I could just go right back into the next question. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. I hope that helped you today. And if you have any questions, if you're like, I don't know, well, you've seen the format, but if you do have questions about it, just hit us up here. Just text us 480-637-2944. Either myself or one of my sales trainers can help you with any questions you have on this or other subjects. Okay. Hope that helped you. I'll see you on the next training video.